Who the is playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Schad. I write for FanSided and Zone Coverage. He is Adam Patrick, lead editor for the NFL division at FanSided, and manages the VikingAge.com. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday morning. We're also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. On today's show, who the fuck is playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Also, should first-year starters have kids during the regular season? And will A.J. Brown choke out Kevin Patullo on the sidelines on Sunday? Lots to go over. It's an exciting time. Let's start with that quarterback situation, Adam, because it is trending that Carson Wentz is likely to start on Sunday against the Eagles. I have the question mark because Kevin O'Connell will not announce it, and do not ask him again or else he will literally rip your head off Mortal Kombat style. Neither Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy are 100%. The first one coming from Kevin O'Connell. JJ McCarthy talking to reporters and saying, I'm not at 100%. He actually said he had to go get a second opinion on his ankle as well, and they gave him a 2 to 6 week timeline. It has been 4 weeks since he got hurt, so he has been limited in practice the last 2 days. Carson Wentz has been full. We're probably getting Carson Wentz on Sunday, and there's still a whole bunch of sickos out there on the internet who thinks Max Brosmer is going to start. So that's a lot of information to digest. First of all, do you think Carson Wentz is going to start for the Vikings on Sunday? And also, do you think, why are the vibes so low? Because it feels like everybody's just kind of like, I don't sim this season. I don't give a shit. Like, it seems very weird going into this game where the Vikings are getting a lot of guys back.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of guys back, and I think maybe the vibes are off or weird or low because they just spent, last week was a bye, and then the previous 2 weeks they were overseas in Ireland and London, and they haven't been in Minnesota. They haven't played a game in US Bank Stadium since week 2, which was like a month ago when JJ got hurt. But yes, we're going into the week. I thought McCarthy had a good chance to be the starter. And I thought I guess O'Connell saying we're going to have both people, work, get reps and both are going to have a chance to play this week. It's possible that McCarthy could play if he has good practice. I thought McCarthy had a good chance to play, but after the last 2 days of him being listed as a limited participant in practice and Carson Wentz being listed as a full participant in practice, I think it's pretty obvious that they're leaning towards Carson Wentz. Is that the right choice? I think if you want, as Kevin O'Connell's been saying, he wants to make sure McCarthy's 100% or he's able to do, his fundamentals or whatever before he gets back on the practice field. I think that they feel more comfortable with Wentz, even though Wentz is also nursing, a shoulder injury. He's still wearing a sling during practice or a brace or whatever it's called. So, yeah. And then I think, if McCarthy's not going to play, you can't make him active on Sunday because then that looks like a benching. And it essentially is. So if McCarthy's not going to play, he needs to be inactive, and Brosmer needs to be the number 2, and then I guess Cam Akers be the emergency number 3 again. So yeah, and then I think people think if McCarthy doesn't play on Sunday, then he's not going to play next week against the Chargers because it's a short week and everything. But I did listen to I listened to Thor Nystrom on Purple Daily today. He brought up the good point that the same defensive coordinator that McCarthy faced in practice every day at Michigan is now the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. So he should know that defense pretty well, which would give him, maybe a better shot than some coming off of entering a short week and not having much experience. So I still think the Chargers, him playing next week against the Chargers, is still a chance. But But it looks like a lot of people were saying it looks like the Lions week 9, which worries me because if they know his ankle's hurting, they're gonna try and break it. Because that's just what the Lions do under Dan Campbell. They try and just break your body, including their own in the process. Um, but yeah, so it'll be Carson Wentz on Sunday. Um, the only thing that worries me, not worries, but like concerns me is this. If Carson Wentz plays Sunday and he plays next Thursday, that gives him 2 more chances to put together, you know, some really good performances from him.
The hot hand.
Yeah. But but for real, like if you win the next 2 games and you're 5-2 with Carson Wentz under center, you have to figure out what you want to do this season. You know, I feel like with Wentz, you can only go so far. I feel like the ceiling is pretty known. If you keep Wentz in as a starter, sure, maybe you'll win a lot of regular season games. But to me, it seems like another, heading towards a first round exit if you keep Wentz as your starter. But with McCarthy, I feel like the ceiling is higher for him. Is he going to struggle? Yeah, he's going to. Does he needs to struggle in games because he's not going to be able to figure out how to be that great quarterback that Kevin O'Connell wants him to be if he doesn't struggle in games. And I feel like Kevin O'Connell kind of sometimes has to get over that hump of like he's going to struggle. I have to like adjust my offense to help him. He's not going to be able to run the full thing. I have to help this kid, and like I feel like it's more of an adjustment and a learning experience, not more of, but at the same time of like for Kevin O'Connell that it is for JJ McCarthy this season because O'Connell with the Vikings, we've been talking about it today, me and you, like most of his successes come with veteran quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, even Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, and now Carson Wentz. Like these are guys who have been in the league for multiple seasons, handfuls of seasons, multiple years. They know like what it takes to just run an offense in the NFL. Have the right fundamentals. And Kevin O'Connell's kind of the guy where like he just steers them in the right direction, gives them a couple tweaks here and there, and then he gets the most out of them. Where like Kevin O'Connell's not had a lot of success with developing young quarterbacks. I sent you the list today of it's, to be fair, a lot of the guys that young quarterbacks he's worked with, uh, not the greatest of players in NFL history. He worked with Johnny Manziel in 2015 with the Browns. He worked with Dwayne Haskins with Washington in 2019. Jaron Hall in 2023 with the Vikings, 5th-round pick. John Wolford in 2020 with the Rams, and now JJ McCarthy. But none of those players, at least McCarthy's still, out. This the jury's still out on McCarthy, but like none of those players panned out um, under Kevin O'Connell. So like I feel like it's just as much of a learning experience and a an adjustment for Kevin O'Connell as it is for McCarthy. So they got to figure out what they want to do. If they win the next 2 games, I feel like they're probably just going to stick with Wentz, and McCarthy will learn from the sideline. I don't know if that's the greatest idea, but I don't know. The, this is why it's hard to be a fan of the Vikings sometimes because their owners they want them to compete every year, and so like every year they're kind of teetering in between trying to develop guys and also winning now at the same time. And I'm not so sure if they're really built to develop a quarterback. It's really, really hard to develop a quarterback for a team that has the pieces to win now. And it's clear that McCarthy, from the first 2 weeks, things could change moving forward, but it's clear from the first 2 weeks that he still needs plenty of development. So it's just it's difficult for the Vikings to figure out. I feel like it's probably a weekly thing where like, okay, we're gonna bring him in, get him back going, but we're winning, so we want to keep winning. And NFC's kind of wide open this year. Do we want to compete there? Like, there's just so many questions they got to answer, and it's only week 7.
I feel the vibes are off.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would say. As the kids say, the vibes are off because I agree with you when you say I think the Vikings ceiling is higher with JJ McCarthy than it is Carson Wentz. And I think a lot of people see that and they go, oh my God, here we go again. Another 9-8 season where we're going to be in the hunt. And, Carson Wentz is going to do the gritty in a meaningless game in Detroit and, all of that stuff. And, a couple of years ago when Kirk Cousins was the quarterback, there was a reason to be upset with that because it never felt like the Vikings had a long-term plan. Right now, it does feel like the Vikings have a long-term plan. They do have something down the road. And the one thing that I would say is that they messed up this whole backup quarterback situation, or even just the starting quarterback situation, because JJ McCarthy's still only 22 years old. I think in a perfect world, he doesn't get hurt. He's getting all of these reps behind Sam Darnold last year, which did not happen because of the injury. And then this year, he has a full year of a foundation to work on. I think if you gave Kevin O'Connell true serum, like, who do you really want to start on Sunday? He'd say JJ McCarthy because that upside is higher. And two, he's been talking an awful lot about the most important practice ever, that week of the Falcons game where he missed to go see the birth of his child. Well, also too, I'm sure he's just annoyed's maybe the wrong word. Just like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
he is.
Okay, first of all, he missed a full year. Now this kid's being born in September. Like, he's probably not. He's probably not mad about the kid. Like, I think Bill Simmons had to take out there, like, that kid screwed up JJ McCarthy's whole season. But that's another discussion for another.
But plenty of players, like Phillip Rivers, obviously he had kids.
Oh, on an annual basis.
Yeah, so like,
But when you're 22 years old, that's something. Here's what I will say about this, and I know everybody's sitting there like,
one more thing on
Go ahead.
If one practice for missing to go and see the birth of your first kid is going to make the difference between JJ McCarthy playing well and not playing well, then that's on the coaching staff. That's on Kevin O'Connell. He has what he has to prepare, but like one practice, like how much did they do in practice? Like, I understand they figure out where everyone is, but this isn't 1985 where you're like going full contact this isn't okay, fine. This isn't Mike Zimmer's practice.
This is Detroit Lions or Green Bay Packers practice.
Full contact, or I guess the Colts these days, full contact pregame warmups, where everyone gets concussions and
where is the video bones. Sorry to interrupt you. Where is the video of Anthony Richardson like taking out his? Because it has to be fucking
broke
hilarious.
His face,
just like, oh yeah, oh god, oh.
Because there was a video of Travarius Ward getting concussed or whatever.
Yeah,
but like. I know he's like, oh, he only got one practice. How many quarterbacks? I know they're seasoned veterans and stuff or whatever, but like, how many players in the past have had limited practices or they only practice on Friday, which is basically like a walkthrough anyways, and they come and they play fine on Sunday? Like, I don't think that practice made a huge deal. I think it was a bigger deal that Christian Darrisaw wasn't playing. I think it was a bigger deal that Jordan Addison wasn't out there. I think it was a bigger deal that this Falcons defense is probably actually pretty good because they just did the same thing to Josh Allen on Monday. So like, I think this practice thing that O'Connell keeps bringing up is probably more of like a him thing, like a him and didn't KFC just have a kid? I know it wasn't like the week of practice or whatever, but like, it's not like he's scheduling when to have his kids. It's just it's an annoying thing to me too, because like it should be JJ getting to become a father and stuff. It should be like celebrated, and now he has to feel guilty because it keeps being brought up that his fiance had their kid and he had to miss practice. In the words of Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice, not a game, practice.
Well, and if he goes out and throws for 304 touchdowns, is this even a like? I get why he's annoyed, but I also, why are we bringing it up constantly? Like, well, he's only had one practice. He missed that one practice.
Because KOC is a psycho. He is.
Yeah.
And that came out earlier.
But all football coaches are.
This came out on Wednesday. He wasn't the nice politician, say everything everyone wants to hear. And, oh, that's a great question. He was like, I already told you on Monday.
Also, too, what would have happened between Monday and Wednesday? They didn't practice on
They didn't
Tuesday.
practice, yeah. So he was right. They're like the same thing I said Monday. He was right though, like because they didn't practice that day yet, and he was like, "Nothing's changed. We haven't even practiced yet." So I
Yeah.
will give him that. But like the way he was like, "I
I
already
do
told you."
I do love how everybody's like, "Oh my God, he was so mean." No, Mike Zimmer would like. He was just, hey, same place we were at on Monday. Just
Yeah,
yep,
go look
matter
up
of
Mike
fact.
Zimmer
Like
and
I have nothing more to say.
go look up every question Chris Thompson asked Mike Zimmer during his tenure.
All right, but here's what I will say. So we're all and I think too, this is kind of a part of jealousy because we saw the Packers develop Jordan Love for 3 years, but they also had pissed off MVP chip on his shoulder Aaron Rodgers leading the way, so nobody gave a shit. Right now, we're having to watch Carson Wentz on Sunday, who has been fine, but like we know the glass slipper is going to break like it did for Sam Darnold. And also, too, by the way, Sam Darnold's like first in like a whole bunch of passing categories. So that's not helping either.
Yeah.
But I think, too, at this point, this team just needs to win games. I really think that's what needs to happen right now because look at the Eagles last year. They were 2-2, and then they won 16 in their final 17 games, and they won the Super Bowl. Like, Nick Sirianni was going to get fired at this time last year. Like they were just like, dude, get this guy out of here. Because like they collapsed the year before.
Still might get fired this
year. Yeah. I mean,
AJ Brown had his way. He'd probably be fired already.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, think back to last year, 2024 Minnesota Vikings. I know they started 5-0, completely different vibes, and that game against Detroit was at electric after the bye. I was there. But you lose to Detroit, you lose to the Rams, and then you don't look great against the Colts, but you win the game. You go to Jacksonville, Sam Darnold chucks 3 interceptions, but you won the game. And that kind of just got the momentum going. Like it was just win. And like, you know, then you play a good Packers team at the end of the year. You beat them at home, and everybody's like, oh my God, Super Bowl, because we're obsessed with the Packers. And, you know, they lost the last 2 games. But I mean, that's all it takes. Like, remember how high those vibes were going into that Detroit game for a team that a lot of people were like, oh, they're gonna flounder now. That was a fluke. That 5-0 start was a fluke. No, they won 14 games. So in this NFC where 10 teams have 2 or fewer wins or 2 or fewer losses right now, Vikings got a shot. And I mean, if they go in on Sunday, take care of their business, does not mean, you know, Carson Wentz goes in there, throws for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns, and the defense pitches a shutout and all that stuff. You're getting your offensive line back. Donovan Jackson for sure. Brian O'Neill, maybe. You are hopefully getting, it sounds like Blake Cashman's going to play. Yeah. And I know the pessimist says, well, how long is he going to play? Still helps on Sunday, so we'll just enjoy it while we can. And then you hopefully get Andrew Van Ginkel back from that neck injury. Like, those are big additions. And also, you mentioned it too, Jordan Addison's back on the field for his first home game, which is as batshit crazy as it sounds.
Lock him in the locker room, please.
Yeah, do not let him. Just Justin Jefferson's gonna be like, "Hey, you want to go out?" And let's do this. So that he jumps in the car. Wait, why are we at the stadium? Just locks him in the room closet, puts like a forklift between the door. Like, all right, we got him.
Rookie of the year where one of the players got locked in like the equipment closet or something.
Yes, and like it would happen in wrestling all the time, where like they would trap him in the locker room and like they'd barricade him, but then they'd get out at the perfect time. It's like, it's Austin. Yeah, just to quote, I had my good friend of the Before I Die podcast and Bar Down Beauties podcast, Jesse Pierce, on my Homer Horn podcast a few years ago. And she said, just keep winning. That's all you have to do. Just keep winning, which sounds like harder than it sounds. Just keep winning, win games. And everybody will be back on the bandwagon. We'll be going to the Super Bowl. We won't go in like, oh my God, we should have signed Aaron Rodgers. Can you believe that? Which I think Kevin O'Connell thinks he did right now. But I mean,
I don't know. I the jury's still on Rodgers too, because it's not like he's blowing the doors off.
Big matchup while we're recording this, by the way. It is amazing you booked the podcast during Thursday Night Football. Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. So they put out a poster
The
of it, and
Unk
they're like, "This
Bowl.
the Unk Bowl," as the kids
All right,
say.
guys. Okay.
They had a little photo thing, and somebody's like, "This looks like a political debate." Just
a couple of years it might be.
It very well could.
But yeah, like there's been plenty of instances in the past where teams have just, like Jared Allen told me a couple of weeks ago, ride the hot hand. And I think you have to look at each the NFL is weird. Like we're like it is literally season. Each season is its own animal. Like yes, you want to develop a player, but if you're winning, you gotta see how much you can win because you don't know if you're going to be back in that same position the following year or the year after. So I feel like there is that argument of like if Carson Wentz goes out and wins on Sunday and he wins on Thursday, then to keep him in. And I I will admit I'm starting to have second thoughts on like did the Vikings misjudge having McCarthy play this year and not just have him just this be his rookie year and have him sit behind someone, let a veteran start, whether it be Carson Wentz or Daniel Jones or somebody. I'm not saying Sam Darnold because that's too much. They were never going to pay him what he wanted, and he got a bunch of money from the Seahawks. So that's never an option. I don't think the Vikings ever thought about bringing him back, especially at that price. But like to have someone like Daniel Jones or Carson Wentz starting to begin the year, and then he has that. Then say they get hurt or they have a couple bad games in a row, then you're like, okay, kid, let's see what you got. And he's been sitting, learning behind, doing scout team practice and stuff. Like I talked to Dante Culpepper like a couple months ago, and he talked about how just practicing every day because the scout team goes against the first team defense. So every day he got to go against the first team defense, and how much that like benefited his development. So like did the Vikings maybe misjudge how to use McCarthy? But again, like I said, Kevin O'Connell he's never really developed a young quarterback like this. Like first round, build everything around them. He's never really done it, at least not successfully. So I think everyone is in this situation is really just going by the flow and figuring it out as they go along. And yes, mistakes will be made, but again, I do trust Kevin O'Connell's decisions because he has proven in the past he knows pretty much what he's doing when it comes to quarterbacks. But I think we also have to just keep in mind that it's a new experience really for him too.
Okay. Here's something ironic.
Oh boy.
Kevin O'Connell's like a first-time parent, isn't he? Like,
No, he's got
you take your godson out for ice cream and it's a good time. And then all of a sudden, what you can do at the end of the day, you can give him back to his parents.
Like
that's why I love
nephew,
kids.
Right?
I don't have kids. Right. I'm 39 years old, don't have kids, probably won't have kids, but I love kids because I can give them back to their parents at the end of the day. Then all of a sudden you have a kid of your own and you're like, oh my God, how do I keep this thing alive? It's pooping. Like, oh my God, what do I do now?
So much pooping.
Now it's walking, like it's talking to me. Like I don't even know what that would be like, but I mean, this is probably what Kevin O'Connell's going through in his like quarterback journey, in his coaching journey. How about that? Yeah. So I mean, hey, you want to talk shit about JJ McCarthy having a kid? You're basically having a kid of your own, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, he got to hang out he got to be Uncle Kevin the first couple of years, hang out with his niece and nephews. I don't know who the niece would be, but his nephews the first couple of years, and gas them up, sugar them up, and then hand them back off to their parents wherever get them ready for college or whatever. And then this year, he's got a kid of his own. He's got to, like you said, he's got to figure out how to change the diapers, put one foot in front of the other. Don't put those things in your mouth. I don't want to go to the emergency room and baby proof everything. Maybe you got to like make some adjustments to dumb down some things to make it easier for them to adjust. So yeah, that's a great analogy. Good job by you.
Yeah, thank you. Vikings at Eagles, 12 o'clock, US Bank Stadium. It's on Fox. Adam Amin, Greg Olsen, and Pam Oliver on the call. The Eagles are currently favored on the road by 1.5 points, according to the Action Network as of Thursday. All right, Eagles. What do we think about this? Because I swear to God, there's like a triple threat for who should get the ball. Like Saquon Barkley's gonna light a table on fire. Jalen Hurts is just gonna punch Kevin Patullo in the face, and we already knew what AJ Brown's gonna do. This game's gonna go two different ways. I think either the Eagles are gonna come together and they're gonna have this magical run, and everything's gonna, like, ESPN's just gonna drool over it, or they're just gonna get fucking smoked. Like one way or the other. Like this is just going to be, it's going to be a car wreck one way or the
Well,
other.
you know, the best way to get on track is to go against
Just
the
keep
number
winning.
one defense in the NFL in terms of defensive EPA. But yes, just keep winning. Yeah, the things are not going well with the Eagles and their new offensive coordinator. Just like Saquon Barkley is non-existent. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are just complaining every week. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw. They can't run the ball well. They don't really do anything. Like we thought the Browns and Vikings game was going to be like a slog fest. This is going to be similar because the Eagles and Vikings both rank low in terms of like offensive yards per drive or whatever. They both rank low in third down conversions. The Eagles are just not running the ball well. I think I just heard that Saquon Barkley doesn't have any rushes over 20 yards this year, which is, he had like, I don't know, 30 last year. And then, the struggles of their passing game too with, Jalen Hurts. He's not a passer. He's more of like he takes advantage of what the running game does to open up the passing game. He's good at that. And he's good at, scrambling and making plays and the tush push. Can't wait to complain about that.
Every play.
Can't wait to complain about that on Sunday,
Yes.
by the way. Just so excited to have to deal with that. But yeah, I think this is going to be probably like a defensive battle because if there's anything the Eagles can be confident about on Sunday, I think it's that their defense is pretty good, minus their secondary, which is not good because they're I don't know. Quinyon Mitchell did practice in full today on Thursday with a full. He's got a hamstring injury, so he was in question, but he practiced full, so it looks like he's on track to play. But he's a tweak or something away from Ringo being the number one guy over there. Who else they got? Is it Adoree Jackson they got back
Cooper
there too? I
DeJean?
think. Yeah. So like, I don't. They don't have enough people, I feel like, to cover Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, which is good that Jordan Addison's back because I think like he's someone who could have a really good game on Sunday. But yeah, still, I think like this, like you said, it could be they can get their butt whooped. I think you said it more maliciously, or
In
it
total
could be,
Chris fashion, yes.
yeah. Or I think it'll be more like the Browns game and Steelers games where it's just like slog fest, pre-snap penalties, struggling to get third downs. Ryan Wright is a star. He's punting 7 times. Maybe Will Reichert's a star. He hits like 5 field goals and breaks the record that should have been broken on Sunday. Who was it? Evan McPherson? He kicked 67-yarder. But that was outdoors. I'm rambling on. But no, I think the Vikings have a very good chance. Like I think 2 weeks ago we probably would have thought otherwise, but the Eagles have shown they're definitely beatable. It's lost to the Giants. Like, say what you will about Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo, but their number one receiver is Wan'Dale Robinson. Okay? I think Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, maybe even Jalen Naylor, are better than Wan'Dale Robinson. So if the Giants can beat the Eagles, I feel pretty good about the Vikings' chances on Sunday.
I mean, the Giants are bad. At least they're entertaining now.
They are. They are very entertaining.
Jackson Dart goes into the tent and Brian, dude, Russ is out there. You got to get back out there, man. Like, don't die on me.
How has Cam Scatterboo not put himself in the tent? Yeah, like headbutting.
I'm sure it's coming. I was going to say he's like Marion Barber,
but
like Barber like lasted a few years.
I was going to say maybe like he's just 24 hours a day concussed. Like concussed is just like his normal state.
Just he has to get concussed to like function as an adult, which is why You saw the video of him like against the brick wall, and he's like, he's like, I'm getting my neck right.
Okay,
like,
bro.
Yeah, like cool story,
I don't
bro.
think he
You're not
smells-
getting a second
I
contract.
feel like he eats smelling salts and doesn't smell them. He
Smelling salts and Elmer's glue.
just eats them. Yeah.
That's his diet. No, you know, I still sit here with Carson Wentz and I go, just don't crash the plane. And even if he does, it's probably good because then, okay, JJ McCarthy probably starts if he's healthy next week. I do feel like it might be a 2-week decision right now because, like, if he's not good to play this week, short week, it's kind of like,
or you could tell him to start preparing now.
You could,
if you know he's not going to play, and give him that time to be like, hey, start getting ready for Thursday. You know this defense, so start getting ready.
I don't buy into the Carson Wentz revenge game. I don't think he's good enough to make it matter.
Well, he also doesn't. It was like he was there 5 years ago, so it's not even like it was fun. Like a year after he left, I think he was with the Commanders or whatever. But like
Isaiah Rodgers' revenge game, though, that might be
like revenge, as in the Eagles are bummed they don't have him on their roster because he would have been their best cornerback this year.
That secondary is struggling. You are right. Quinyon Mitchell, if he's healthy, that's a problem. But the Vikings also have more than one receiver now. Like, I've been impressed with Jalen Naylor this season. I know he doesn't have the big numbers, but I mean, he's been doing his job. Jordan Addison, we know what he can do when he doesn't get lost in a new city. There's a lot of
Who's that number 4 receiver? Who's that guy? I think he's from Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota. We had to have him, though. Like, there was nobody else we could have traded for.
No. Yeah.
So
there is one thing I do worry about, like this being the game that Saquon Barkley like gets on track or whatever, because the Vikings run defense is probably the one weakness of their defense that has hurt them this year. With Bijan going off, Quinshon Judkins had some nice runs 2 weeks ago. What's his face from the Steel? I don't even know his name from the Steel because he never plays.
Jalen Warren? No, Kenneth Gainwell. Former Eagle.
That was his best game. That was the best game of his career against the Vikings. But if Blake Cashman is back, then I feel a little bit more confident because the Vikings are a much better run defense when he's out there pushing people into their spots and knowing where everything's to go. He's like the field general or whatever. And maybe Harrison Smith will play more than 20 snaps too if we're lucky.
Yeah, that's just
still no idea what's going on. No idea.
I don't know. It's a delicate situation. Be like, you have to.
We don't even know if it is.
Yeah, I don't know. He'd just be I'm old. I can only play 20 snaps. But
to be fair, why did he come back?
Yeah,
like, was he fine before whatever happened? Like, and then now he's. That's the. We don't even know. There's no hint of it. There's no report. There's nothing. Like, nothing. And no one.
Zero.
We got all these great insiders. No one finds.
Hey, Diana Rossini should get on that. She knows what's going on inside the building, apparently. I guarantee you there will be, in her little notebook on Saturday, there'll be like something about McCarthy and like some rival GM be no, they're hiding. Like, they would fucking know what's going on outside of the building.
Oh, and she'll give us more breaking news like, trouble's brewing in the Eagles locker. Oh, no way.
Thanks, Diana. We'll just put you on every beat writer report so they think you do something.
Hey, guess what? The Dolphins are concerned about the performance of their head coach, and they might fire him. They could fire him at the end of the year.
His tag team partner,
Mike
McDaniel.
More, subscribe to The Athletic.
Nick Sirianni and Mike McDaniel look like they have been thrown out of a quick trip multiple times.
You know what? If McDaniel gets fired, I feel like that would be actually a good place for him to end up.
Just hanging out at a quick trip?
No, the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. I don't know. He'd probably go to Quick Trip after it, just like sitting on a corner with Sirianni, like fucking to it.
McDaniel would probably just go back.
I don't give a fuck.
He'd probably just go back to Shanny.
Probably, or some McVay, Shanahan.
Go to Jacksonville and Liam Cohen.
Exactly. Who you got in this game?
I think the Vikings can win. I think it'll be a 1-score game. I will go. We'll do a scoregami and do like 29-26. I don't know if that's scoregami.
Okay, Vikings at home.
Yeah. Is this going to be a good Vikings crowd, or is this going to be a, hey, we haven't seen you guys in a while, and the vibes are off.
Show us something.
So like we're just going to sit here quietly until you do something.
I shit on the Wild all the time, like Wild fans for doing that because like
the same fans.
Yeah, a lot of the same fans. They lost on Saturday and their tickets were like they had club tickets in Grand Casino Arena. It's still weird to say, but it was $50 and my friend was like, "We should go." And she didn't say we should go. She's like, $50 is insane. And I'm like, "Yeah, it is, especially cuz it was one loss." So I mean, Vikings fans do that too sometimes where it's just they just sit and like, "All right, show me something. I'm not going to cheer until you."
Yeah, the tickets don't get any cheaper though to Vikings games.
No, they do not. They charge top dollar for that. I'm going to say 24-21 Vikings. Will Reichard game-winning field goal over the camera wire. Oh yeah. He'll just do it for like style. It'll be like a short field goal and he'll just send a message just like.
Now they're saying like, oh, there's no evidence that it hit
there's a camera on the wire. Like it would be like, like
it was going it was going straight and then it just all of a sudden went like right angle. Like someone's like, it was the wind.
If he can do that, that's like dude perfect stuff. Like trick shot.
The guy who made every field goal before that just has that type of he doesn't play for the Bears. He's not gonna shank it like that.
I do. It was pretty funny seeing Jake Moody hit that field goal and they're like interviewing him and he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do with my
like
hands.
Bears got lucky. What do you have? He had like 5 field goals that game? 4 field goals?
4 out of 5, and the 5th one was blocked. So, like a Kirk win, not his fault.
Nope, but I'm kind of happy the Bears have him as a kicker because that's going to come back to bite them. I feel
yes. And they also have Cairo Santos.
Good thing you got revenge
on 50 yards.
Good thing you got revenge on the Commanders. Good thing. It's that Hail Mary.
And that just evil Troy Aikman.
Just like last year when the Lions like went all out against the C-string Niners team in week 16 or whatever last year, and Dan Campbell was crying in the locker room afterwards.
I know the Vikings are a little crabby right now, but like looking around the NFC North, everybody's just like on edge. Like the Packers were out today and they're just like, did you know Michael Parsons gets held on every play? Oh, like every other fucking player out there? Yeah. Oh, they're just missing calls and I don't understand what's happening. And then Parsons is out in front of the thing. It's like, you literally have never had a blown call before, huh? Lions fans, they go on their Reddit right now because public library, the line must be out the door. These guys, 2 years of football experience, and they're just like, why aren't these penalties being called? Oh my God. And like, were some of them penalties? Yeah, probably. Like, Patrick Mahomes, Shooter McGavin, finger guns probably should have been a 15-yard penalty. But
maybe
I saw one idiot. He's like, that should be a 60-yard penalty. I'm like, do you know how football works? Like, they don't stack penalties on top of each other. Like, good Lord.
Maybe also when you're on the goal line, use your really good offensive line and your 2 really good running backs to just run the ball in the end zone instead of just doing this stupid play to throw to your quarterback who almost didn't catch it, and then it didn't count anyways, and then you didn't get a touchdown. So
we know how that ends. Jameson Williams passed in the NFC Championship game, and then the Bears just want to fight like every reporter. Like D.D. Kinkawat, like, oh, you're gonna change things up?
Oh, Troy Aikman? Yeah. Did you see this Troy Aikman stuff about like how Caleb Williams was like supposed to call him or whatever for Monday Night Football, and he was watching film because somebody taught him how to watch film, so he was staying late in the building, and then he tried to call Aikman, and Aikman didn't pick up, and then like I guess Aikman kind of had like some snide comments about him in the game, and Ben Johnson was like still talking about him the next day, and I'm like, guys, who cares? Like,
yeah,
it's a broad. You guys talk about like every coach talks about like quieting the noise. Not letting the noise come in the locker, and you're just doing all this fucking bullshit.
Ben Johnson's like the guy who would just be like, he'd challenge people to fight, and then you'd meet him at the flag ball and be like, I bet you won't fucking do anything, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought, huh? yeah, tough guy, huh?
Or he'll have like some muscle, like bring Kevin Nash with him and just be like, you get him. You gotta get through him to get to me first.
Big Daddy Cool, Diesel. On that note, had to get that in. What's going on at the Viking Age, Adam?
We're getting ready for Sunday. A noon game in Minnesota.
Tickets for $5. Come
I
see
don't have to wake up
Gravedigger.
I don't have to wake up. Hey, Gravedigger's coming out here a couple of weeks. I'm gonna actually bring my kids to see it. So
your kids are probably hyped for Gravedigger.
Oh yeah, we have Gravedigger toys, of course. But
only at the Metrodome. Sorry, I had to get that out.
It's okay. We're getting ready for Sunday, a noon game. We don't have to wake up early. Still breakfast and football for me, as it always is. 10 o'clock out here. It's great. But that game, and then it'll be a quick turnaround for next week. Next Thursday, play the Chargers. Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. But yeah, we'll have a lot of good stuff going up on the Viking Age, trying to keep everyone updated. And I'm hoping to put together some of the stats that I shared with you today about Kevin O'Connell working with young quarterbacks and veteran quarterbacks, and maybe JJ McCarthy isn't the right quarterback for him. Who knows? We'll see. It's week 7. We got 11 more weeks of regular season football to go. So
is that a threat? I just want to win this game, because if we lose, we'll go into this Thursday night game and be like, should have hired Harbaugh. Should have signed Rodgers and hired Harbaugh. They Kwesi fumbled. Did you see the Justin Jefferson thing today also?
I saw the clip.
Very good.
It's weird.
I mean, it is weird, but I mean, he got Kwesi good.
Yeah, he got him. Also, the disguises aren't his disguise wasn't that good.
No, but he hit it well, because he had the camera the entire time.
But I saw clips of the Baker one, because they did one with Baker too, undercover or whatever, and it just looked like Baker with a mullet. Baker looks like, no
he's
offense
very
to Baker.
Distinctive.
He looks like a scumbag, but he's easy to root for.
Yeah,
and he's good and he's fun.
That guy's awesome.
He'll be on the Vikings in 10 years to finish his career.
When we cast JJ McCarthy aside after 2 games, trade him for his 2nd and 3rd round pick, get him out of here. Of course, you can read my stuff at Zone Coverage. I got my Viking stuff over there. I do Twins occasionally now, because baseball is going to lock out. I think the Dodgers are probably up 7-1 right now. I don't know what the score is, but I'll check it when I'm done. And the Minnesota Wild hockey season is starting, so I'm writing stuff about that, pissing everyone off. It's fun times over there at Hockey Wilderness.
4 games in?
We are 4 games in. Matt Boldy leads the league in points right now, or at least he's one of them. So I don't know. Call me in February when he, is just skating around the outside, and he's doing the little things though. He's blocking shots and whatever. Yeah, he's getting paid $7 million too. Let's pick it up a little bit.
Is that a lot in the NHL?
Actually, it's a hell of a bargain now, because Kirill Kaprizov's getting $17 million. And if you talk to a Wild fan, they will tell you 2 things. They'll tell you that Brock Faber wears glasses, and Matt Boldy's contract is a fantastic deal. So those are the 2 things.
It's funny because Kaprizov, did I say it right?
Yeah.
His most expensive contract in the NHL is what Daniel Jones is getting paid this year to be the quarterback of the Colts.
Yeah, they're a little behind over there at the NHL, but the cap's going up.
A little less revenue over there.
Little less revenue. So check all that stuff out. And of course, I write at the FanSided RBN network as well, so you can keep up on everything that's going on in the NFC North right now. Dairyland Express for the Packers, DeWindy City for the Bears, and Detroit Jock City for the Detroit Lions. But this is the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. I am Chris Schad at the real Chris Schad. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. We do this every Tuesday and Friday morning right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. And we're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. So however you consume us, like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode, and we can spread the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. 4 letters, 1 word. Skol.